Hey everybody on YouTube, this is Ken with XMods Gaming, back with another video. So right here I have the Sega CD Model 2 on the bench, and then we're gonna do a blue LED to match the blue LED on the Sega Genesis that attaches to it. So those people who don't know what a Sega CD is, it's just an add-on for the Sega Genesis Model 1 or 2. This is a Model 2 Sega CD. It does have the expansion, I don't know, cover or whatever. I don't know what you call it. But basically, you could put a Model 1 here and it'll work with the Model 2 Sega CD. Or you could take this kind of like extra foot off and you could put a Model 2 Sega Genesis there with the Model 2 Sega CD. Or you can get a Model 1 Sega CD, which is kind of rare because they kind of don't hold up to the test of time. And I'm going to do, like I said, the blue LED. This one says it's about 3.2 volts at 20 milliamps. So you should be able to just swap a current LED with something like that. And there's ways where you can, test the current and, the resistance and all that. So you can really dive deep into it. So if you want to be for sure, you can get a multimeter. But in my experience, most LEDs of this vintage are like 3.2 volts, just based on my experience. So if it gets too bright or if it burns out early, then you probably have to put a resistor in there. I would recommend like ledcalc.com is a website that you can put in the variables of your LED and the voltage and the milliamps and the wattage, and they'll tell you, okay, you need to use this size LED or put in this size resistor in series to get it to work. So without further ado, we'll go ahead and get this going here. Tools for the job that you're going to need: a Phillips screwdriver, a desoldering tool of some sort. You can use a desoldering pump or you can use a solder sucker. This is kind of all built into one. And then, you can use a soldering iron so you can actually solder your LED in. So, as far as experience level, you only need to be like, this is kind of like beginner stuff, but not everybody knows how to solder. You can actually go onto my website and request a service. It'll probably cost you like $30 plus shipping. Yeah, so I'm going to take this cover off, which this expansion cover is kind of a rarity. I just bought it separately on eBay because it kind of does look goofy to have a Model 1 Sega CD hooked up, or sorry, a Model 2 Sega CD hooked up with a Model 1 Sega Genesis. And then we're going to do, I think there's 6 screws. Yeah, 6 Phillips screws. So we're just going to go all the way around. And I haven't done this to any of my Sega CDs before. I watched other people do it, like Game Tech US is kind of where I learned most of this stuff. But he kind of doesn't do YouTube videos anymore. Well, he does. He just has a different channel. So you want to make sure there's not a game in the drive, first and foremost. And then right here is our, this little triangle PCB board is where our LED is. Wow, and it kind of fits in a little case right here. Let's see if I can zoom up on that. So I'm gonna move this up. So there's little clips right there on the LED. So if I understand this correctly, I think the positive leg will go here, and the negative leg will go here. But as you can tell, it's like no time just to get into here. Be nice if I could pry that out. And a shout out to one of my mentors, Fix It Phil. He used to have a YouTube channel, but I think he's strictly on. I know he's on Facebook and he's on Twitch, I think. But one of my mentors talked to him this morning. Just inspiration. I want to call him a mentor, but definitely an inspiration to do a YouTube video, as well as guys like Game Tech US and all them. So I'm one of the few that are still on YouTube modding. There's newcomers like Voltar that have been out there for a while now. I don't think he's new to modding, but he's definitely been on YouTube for a little while. Huh. I'm sure there's a better way to get that case off. Okay, so the positive side's going to be over here, and the negative side's over here. See if I can use some pliers. What I'm going to do, I'm going to probably just cut these tabs off. Because they seem like from factory, they're like a little distorted. And I'll cut the LED E-legs off. I think what I'll do in this situation is I'll add a little lead-free solder. And then try to suck it back up. All right, so we got that casing off. And then, all right, pull out, put some flux on it. Get our desolder wick. Man, I think I'm gonna turn on my fan. Yeah, close enough. I want to try to cut this down even more. Looks like the hole's freed up. I'm not sure. Try to desolder it again. So the reason why you want to put more solder in because it gives your solder sucker something to suck out. Oh, whoops. Okay. So it's freed up. I just have to clip it some more. All right, now it's out. All right. And then what I'll do is I'll turn off my desoldering tool. All right, and then here we have our LED. So just to make sure, I'll take my voltage meter and put on continuity. I mean, I can see the trace where it's going, but just to double check. All right, so that goes to positive. And that goes to negative. So black, of course, negative, red, positive. Now I can see where the traces are going, but it's good to double check, you know. Now on your LED, you're like, oh, which way's the positive? Well, if you have an uncut LED like this, the bigger leg's going to be positive, shorter leg's going to be negative. And also you'll see like a little diamond in there. With the kind of like the flag part of the diamond in the center of the LED is going to be negative. You know, definitely I'm not an LED expert, but as you can tell, because I honestly don't know what this little diamond symbol means, but you know. Then what we're gonna do. Whoa. I kind of like to spread the legs a little bit. I mean, that's what he said, right? But yeah, I just like to do that just to get so it doesn't fall back through, basically. And then, not usually like a necessity, but I like to take some IPA, isopropyl alcohol, aka rubbing alcohol. I just go to the drugstore and get the 91%. Some people go online and order the 99%, which is sure, I guess. Less water, less dry time, less shorts. But if you don't have 99%, you can get away with 70%, you know, just use a hair dryer for a few seconds on it and it'll probably dry it all out. Something like that, you know. This is no clean flux. I don't have to get it off of there, but I'm contemplating if I should put this bracket back on or not. Doesn't seem to do much, to be honest. Yeah, it doesn't really do much, so. And this is the Sega CD I got off of eBay for like $80, non-working. All I needed was a cap replacement, and it seems to work pretty good now. And that's how you can get a Sega CD for cheap. They're not like very expensive, but they're also not cheap. They are very expensive if you get, one that's working. Let's just say that. So, they're like $200 on eBay working. Okay, let's see. How did I have this before? Okay. So on mine, I like to tuck the wire under. That way it doesn't block the screw in any way. Dang. Dropped a screw. All right. See, yeah, right there's the heat pipe, this white thing. Or clear thing, I mean. All right, so give me a second. I got to find this screw. All right, I'm back with the screw. I hate when that happens. So tuck your positive, negative wires under the little triangle PCB, just so they don't get smashed in any way. And then put your Phillips screw back in. And what I like to do, I like to pop the lid and then close the lid. Now we're going to put our Phillips screws back in. And I believe they're all the same size. And what I like to do is do the kind of reverse thread till it drops down and then screw it in. That way you're not making new threads in the plastic for something that's, 1993, 35 years old or something like that. And you just want it hand tight. You don't want to crank on screws that are, or screws that go into plastic that's 35 years old. Well, that pretty much goes with almost anything that's in a plastic housing. I don't think you'll ever find like a torque spec on items that are in plastic that are kind of not built to last for too long. And the little expansion cover, I don't even know what they call it, the official name. And these ones are just like machine screws. Whoops. Whoa. All right. Make sure your door functions and everything. All right, so we'll go test it out. All right, so I have the Model 1 Sega Genesis with the Model 2 Sega CD with the expansion on there. And so we're just going to give it a quick test, see if it lights up. Moment of truth. I don't think I didn't put a game in it, so let's see what it looks like. Not too bad, not too bright. This one's like really bright on camera. But yeah, that's no resistor or anything. But if you are putting a LED into something that, you know, didn't have an LED before, let me turn this down. Oh, whoops. Or I'll just turn it off. If it didn't have an LED before, then you're probably going to have to put a resistor in, like, you know, for example, like a Model 3 Genesis. It doesn't have a power LED, and if you do the power LED mod, then you're going to have to put some kind of resistor in there instead of hooking it straight up to 5 volts, because obviously if you take 3.2 volts and hook it up to 5, it's probably going to short out the LED in no time. But there you go. That's how you do it. Yeah, sorry about the camera footage. I think my camera moved a little bit, so you know, you kind of get the idea. But it's Ken with XMods Gaming. Go ahead, comment, subscribe. Go to my About page. Check out my merch. I have t-shirts out there. And then go ahead and join the Facebook group if you haven't already. Until next time.